Hello, welcome to this lesson, which is lesson 3 for level B1 intermediate English learners with me, Kate. Today, we're going to be looking at how often, so specifically looking at adverbs of frequency and some other time phrases. All right, so let's get right to it. Adverbs of frequency. We use these words with the present simple and they tell us how often things happen. Here are some examples. Sometimes, often, usually, always, never, and occasionally. So, what's the most often to the least often? Well, out of these 6 words, the most often is always. Then we have usually, then often, sometimes, occasionally, and never. Some examples with these adverbs of frequency. I always read to my children. Every day, I always read to my children. I usually go running 3 times a week. I usually go running 3 times a week. This means I do it a lot. It's my normal habit. I usually go running 3 times a week. I often visit Aubenay. I often visit Aubenay. It's something I do a lot, but not all of the time. I sometimes go swimming. I sometimes go swimming. I occasionally fly to London. I occasionally fly to London. And I never eat fish. I never eat fish because I don't like it. I never eat fish. Okay, well done. So, adverbs of frequency. With most verbs, we put the adverb before the main verb. For example, I always read to my children. Here's the main verb, which is read, and so the adverb goes before the main verb. I often visit Aubenay. I often visit Aubenay. Here's the main verb, which is visit, so the adverb goes before the main verb. I occasionally fly to London. I occasionally fly to London. Here's the main verb, and we can see the adverb goes before the main verb. I occasionally fly to London. With the verb be, we put the adverb after the verb. It is the one exception. For example, he's always late for class. He's always late for class. We can see here is the verb to be, and so the adverb goes after the verb. I'm never early. I'm never early. We can see here is the verb to be, and so the adverb goes after the verb. Okay, some other time phrases that we use to express how often we do something. We usually put these phrases at the end of the sentence. So we might have every day, every week, every month, every year, or once a day, twice a week, 3 times a month, 5 times a year. These express how often we do things. For example, we go swimming every week. You can see this time phrase is at the end of the sentence. Or Nadia visits her aunt twice a week. Again, at the end of the sentence. This is what we usually do in the English language. It is also possible, sometimes, occasionally, we can also put them at the beginning of the sentence. For example, every day she goes for a walk in the park. Well done. Or once a month, we go out for a really nice meal. Okay, so your turn. Can you complete each sentence so it is true for you? Adding adverbs and time phrases. I watch TV in bed. Can you make that true for you? For example, for me, I sometimes watch TV in bed at the weekend. I sometimes watch TV in bed at the weekend. Now, this sentence is true for me. I have added an adverb of frequency before the main verb and an additional time phrase at the end of the sentence, which tells the listener how often I do this activity. What about this sentence? I'm late for work. Can you make this sentence true for you? For me, I'm occasionally late for work. I try not to be, but I'm occasionally late for work. We can see this is the verb to be, so my adverb of frequency goes after that verb. I'm occasionally late for work. Let's try another one. I play computer games. Can you make this sentence true for you? I play computer games. Okay, well, for me, I don't like computer games, so I never play computer games. Might be different for you. You might sometimes play computer games, maybe at the weekend. But I never play computer games. And we can see my adverb of frequency goes before the main verb, which is play. Well done. Okay, next one. I go to the opera. I go to the opera. Can you make this sentence true for you? Can you make this sentence true for you? Well, I'm ashamed to say that I never go to the opera. I never go to the opera. Something maybe I should change, but I never go to the opera. Maybe that's different for you. Maybe you often go to the opera. Okay. What about this one? I cook a meal for my friends. I cook a meal for my friends. Can you make this sentence true for you using adverbs of frequency and other time phrases? Okay, well, for me, once a month, about once a month, I cook a meal for my friends. About once a month, I cook a meal for my friends. So here I've used the time phrase once a month to tell you how often I do this activity. And finally, I eat chocolate. I eat chocolate. Can you make this sentence true for you? Okay, well, for me, I usually eat chocolate every day. I usually eat chocolate every day. So I have made this sentence true for me by adding an adverb of frequency here, usually, before the verb eat, and an additional time phrase at the end, every day, which tells you how often I do this activity. I usually eat chocolate every day. Well done. So that's the lesson for today. A question for you. How often do you practice speaking English? Do you always speak English? Do you often speak English on holiday? Or do you sometimes speak English at the weekend? How often do you practice speaking English? Can you leave your answer in the comments at the bottom? Please do not forget to subscribe and show your support. And coming next, lesson 4 for B1 Intermediates, the past simple tense. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.